Norrenberger Financial Services has released a 2021 Outlook report for the Nigerian economy titled Seizing the New Reality. The economic and social disruption caused by the pandemic and its adverse effects on the global economy are still very evident. Developing and developed economies are scrambling to procure vaccines to protect their populations against the virus in the hope of reviving their respective economies. Joining us from our Abuja studios is Tijani Oladipupo, Head of Business Advisory at Norrenberger. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So I want to kick things off with the vaccine. Latest news here, the World Bank has committed $12 billion to emerging markets, supporting vaccination programs that have failed to keep pace with those of developed nations. Was this type of support part of your forecast for your report?
To you, viewers, yes. The move by the World Bank, of course, was indeed part of our report. We expect that this push from the World Bank will develop so much into research as well as from pharmaceutical companies in the developing economies. So we expect that these will have a ripple effect in terms of access to vaccines, such that the developing, the emerging markets will, of course, the implication will trickle down on them in terms of vaccinations. And of course, we expect that with this move, achieving herd vaccination will shorten expected turnaround time within which both these developing economies will achieve herd immunity in terms of vaccinations.
Great stuff. All right, you've got an outlook on Nigeria's fiscal policy stance. What's your outlook for the fiscal side of things for the country?
Yes, on the fiscal side of things, we expect the federal government to continue to push up on what it has done in 2020. We expect a lot of support in terms of tax relief. We expect a lot of liquidity support. We expect of direct transfers, amongst other things which the government has actually done. Last year, we expect much more as the global economy tries to achieve herd immunity on COVID-19. We also expect that these policies in the area of fiscal deliberate actions by the government will, of course, help to boost local consumption and then, of course, investment as well. That's, of course, also in addition to what to the 2020 Finance Act. We're also expecting all the various tax reliefs to SMEs, amongst others. We have lots of high hopes around this end in terms of support for the economy.
Thank you. All right, so that's the fiscal side. What about the monetary policy? First MPC meeting, Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the year, ended with rates unchanged. What's your outlook for the monetary side of things in Nigeria?
Of course, on the monetary part of it, as revealed in our report, we, of course, while we're optimistic, we do not see significant deviation from what has happened last year. In terms of the stance of the CBN, we did not see there will be significant deviation from what has happened, given market stance. And we hope that because of this, we expect that the pressures from the impact of various liquidity in the system will help the CBN to be able to determine its stance as far as the monetary policy is concerned.
Great stuff. I just finished speaking with the Director General of the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. He sounds optimistic on the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. You do mention the agreements in your reports. Are you on the same optimistic side? How do you see that playing out?
Yes, thank you. As regards the agreement, once again, as contained in our report, we are positive. We're optimistic. We understand that, of course, with the reduction in tariff, inter-member trade transfer, we expect that these will cause a significant improvement in entrepreneurship business as well as local manufacturers across the various member countries.
All right, and then on crude oil, I think it's trading at about $55 a barrel right now. Nigeria's 2021 budget depends heavily on oil prices as far as foreign exchange. What's your outlook for crude oil for this year?
Yeah, regardless of the benchmark of the crude of the federal government, and of course, regardless of the 5.06 trillion deficit, we hope to see contained as in our outlook. We expect to see that the Brent will hinge as much as 56 to 62 barrel per dollar. That's our projection.
All right. Okay. So that's along with other analysts as well. You touched on the equities market in your report. Market did world-beating 50% return in 2020. It's already started the year 5.23% return for January. What's your outlook for the equities market in Nigeria?
Yes, our outlook for the equities market, like we have done last year, which saw the large movement of funds from the fixed income market to equities market. Of course, if you recall, that saw the Nigerian equities market emerging as the top performer in global equities market. Of course, we also expect, we are positive on the part of equities. We've seen the market moving as high as 5.23% from January to date. We're also positive in this regard, as contained in our report. We expect to see significant performance on the equities market. Regardless of what happens, we hope to see that a lot of these equities performing so much. As you can see, in the last 4 weeks, the likes of some of the banking stocks, we're looking to see that the high yield stocks, in terms of high dividend paying stocks, will deliver so much to the market. And as investors becomes much aware than it used to be, we expect to see that investors will go where the money is. They will go for the high dividend, high yield stocks. Overall, we expect that equities markets will do so much, of course, in line with what we also hope to see in the fixed income market.
All right. So speaking of fixed income, I mean, you already said you're not expecting much from rate moderation from the monetary side of things this year. So I guess what's your take on fixed income? Rates should remain low?
In terms of rate moderation, we have quite a number of variables that are going to put pressure on rates. First, of course, is the federal government budget deficit of 2021 budget deficit of 5.06 trillion. Of course, in addition to the CBN special bills to the banks, hinging at about 4.1 trillion, where we do not expect to see a marginal change in yield in the short term. These variables that we expect to cause some movements in yield, so much we do not expect to see significant movements in yield, to the extent that we also hope that corporate borrowers will take advantage of these downward yield in the fixed income market. We're also hoping to see that corporate borrowers will raise between 2 to 3 trillion. So all these factors put together will determine, of course, the swing of the yield. Like I said earlier, we do not expect to see a significant deviation from what we projected in our outlook.
All right, great. And you also mentioned alternative assets like cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. What's your outlook in that space?
Yes, we did made our projections last year. We saw Bitcoin doing as far as in excess of 300%. While we're also positive on that side, we always will know that we'll advise that investors will drive and invest in these alternative assets on a knowledge market-informed positions. Yes, we're also positive that that alternative market will also do well. Would also do so well as contained in our report. Like we said, in conclusion, that of course we expect that investors will also trade cautiously and hope to engage in knowledge-driven investment.
Great stuff. Tijani Oladipupo, Head of Business Advisory at Norrenberger. I appreciate your insights and your outlook for 2021. Very optimistic stuff.